I'll show it to you too and then turn it around. And then I'll need it for the questions as well.
Wow.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Ferrari Garage Facebook Live here with Kimi and Seb. And before we start with Facebook Live, I want to show you both, Kimi and Seb, the We Race comic. This is chapter 1. It's a futuristic how we see maybe racing in the future. I think it's quite interesting because you can see grid girls are back. Yes, this is the red car, and anyway, I think it's nice to see that we try to engage with the young. So if anyone wants to see it in the Ferrari website, you can now have available the first episode of We Race comic. So after summer break, I want to know, I guess you've managed to rest a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's nice to be back, but for sure it was nice to have a couple of weeks, a couple of weekends off, just to recharge. So I think now we're all looking forward to the second half of the season. Starting in Spa, I think is always great. It's a great circuit, but it was nice to recharge the batteries a bit.
And you, Kimi, before we go on the questions from the fans, I guess you also managed to have a bit of rest and be with the family?
Yeah, it was nice. It's never long enough, but it's nice to be back driving. Obviously not today, tomorrow and over the weekend, but it's I think it's important for all the team mechanics. They do long days, and it's important to get some rest. And it's going to be still a long time until the end of the season.
So I'll start with some questions that everybody sent before, and then we're going to go also with some live questions. So first question to you, Seb. Which is your favorite circuit? This question is from Sifa Mulani via Twitter. Which is your favorite circuit outside the F1 calendar? If there is one. We know you like Suzuka, you like Spa, but is there one that you would have liked to race maybe one day?
Nordschleife. I think the old Nürburgring, that would be epic. I think they just need the new asphalt, and then I think our cars could manage the track. So
I would be
imagine
scared.
that.
I would be scared.
No, it would be cool. I think we all would be scared, at some point, but that would be amazing. I think that's a monster circuit. Other than that, Macau, I like Macau a lot. I've only done it twice with the Formula 3, but I think that was a cool track as well.
And you, Kimi, any circuit outside Formula 1?
Imola was nice. I always enjoyed. Before they changed it, but when I raced there, I always enjoyed. For sure, old Nürburgring would be nice. I only driven it with the road car, but obviously it would be nice to do it with some F1 car or something like that.
And back to you, Seb. During the summer break, do you do any special preparation, or it's just all about resting?
Well, I mean, if you look at the calendar, obviously we're very busy. We were very busy before, and use the time to switch off a little bit, but also the time to do some heavier sessions in terms of training, load the body before you do a lot of overseas and traveling, which then it's difficult to do really continuous work and development work. So you also use the break to develop, let's say, or maintain the level in a good way. So it's a mix of both. One, to have some time off, but also to get ready for the second half and get as strong as you can. You obviously during the season try to keep the level, but in the summer you try to do one, recover, and second, try to ramp it up a little bit before you then have to manage for the rest of the year.
And a different question for you, Kimi. Do you ever watch or rewatch your races in Formula 1 back home?
Sometimes, but not for a while. I enjoy to watch some really old ones when you sometimes happen to come on somewhere on TV, but not too much.
And Seb, we go back in time. With the wheel race was in the future, now we go back in time. Do you miss V10 engines or
yes.
V12,
well, I only
V8?
done, Kimi has raced them, but I only done
You've
one.
tested
I've done my
them.
very, very first test with the V10. I think, in terms of sound, obviously they had great power as well, just from the engine, no batteries, and so on. I think the power we have nowadays is pretty impressive. It's probably, a similar level around that. maybe even more. But yeah, in terms of sound, obviously it's different. The turbo engine always sounds a bit different. Some people prefer that, but I prefer the normal aspirated engine, and the more cylinders the better. I think the V12 of the mid-90s, early 90s, mid-90s in terms of sound was really the best one.
And you, Kimi, also back to this question from Nico, Twitter, you miss V12 or even V10 or even V12. Did you manage to race V12 engines or drive?
No, on the road car Ferraris, but yeah, not. I only seen once actually live. I think it was Jean. He drives one of his old Ferrari F1s with V12s in Ferrari. It was really great sound, amazing, completely different to V10 or anything. So that was nice, but I've never driven. But obviously this is what we have, and we have a lot of power. The sound is the obvious different, but I think for my older ears it's better to have less sound.
And going back to the road car then, Pavel Lucian via Facebook says, which is, and that I'll make to you both, which is your favorite all-time road car, Ferrari road car?
I don't have. I have one. Driven quite a few. I don't know. Depends really what you use for it. I think they are nice everywhere, but obviously some of them are slightly different handlings on the race circuit. But yeah, they're all nice, I would say.
Okay. And you?
F40.
F40, okay. For the looks or for the when you drive it?
Everything. I mean, I have one, so I remember as a child was my favorite car, and obviously when I was able to drive one, and then now drive one whenever I like. It's an amazing car. It's an absolute machine. At the time, it was a major breakthrough. So much power. Very different to modern cars, but really nice car.
And there is Natalia via Twitter that asks a totally different question, but I guess you both like music, and it says, which is the best concert you've ever been to? One of the latest
but
concerts.
I think, well, I've been lucky, sometimes they have the Grand Prix and the concerts are, by chance, there's some good concerts in the same week or same weekend even. Lately, I think the Coldplay concert, that, by chance was in Sao Paulo, and just when we had the race, that was unbelievable. And then years ago, I remember the Stones. Okay. They were in Montreal, and we got some tickets very late, and that was also incredible. So, yeah.
And you, Kimi, music, concerts?
Yeah, I've been in mainly in Finnish
music.
Yeah, but Guns N' Roses maybe. I was one weekend. They had two in Helsinki. So.
And Serial Knight from Twitter wants to know if you play any video games in your spare time. I don't imagine you, but maybe you do. You surprise me.
Well, yeah, sometimes I play FIFA.
Okay.
Yeah, so football. Racing games, not so much. When I was young, I played racing games like touring cars, Formula One. I did Mario Kart when I was younger and so on. But now, the only thing I play, if I play, I don't play a lot, is with friends, football or FIFA on the PlayStation.
Okay. We've seen you on social media that you sometimes drive the simulator at home, but do you play any video games, or you would consider that the video game you play?
Yeah, I guess it's a kind of video game. I use it sometimes, not often. My son likes to use it also. But he needs the pedal man on it. So
I do the pedals manually for him, and he does
the
steering wheel.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. And I have to shift. So, I use it sometimes. Mainly, I like to use like old Nürburgring, some old Formula One cars. So that's fun.
Good. Well, that was then it today. I think the questions you sent were very interesting. So thank you all, and thank you Sepp and Kimi for being here with us. Grazie a tutti. Grazie. Forza Ferrari.